楽しみ Let's go.
Let's go. Say no. Oh.
Oh. My love, my baby. Oh. Wow.
Hey guys, what's going on? Tool Crew's here with...
Thuong desu.
We're here with Thuong-chan and her brand new bike. So I just surprised her with a special Christmas present. I think my first ever Christmas present. ね、初めての Christmas プレゼント。
Yeah.
でも結構いいプレゼントだったな。
待ってたんだよ。
So if you didn't see our other video yet, go ahead and check out the surprise Christmas present reveal where I first showed Thuong the new bike. Her reaction is priceless. Anyway, in today's video, we're going to be building up her brand new bike. So this is a BMC Teamelite 032, an aluminum mountain bike. Her first ever mountain bike. And I think this is her first time ever building a bike. So for anyone who's new to bike building and actually has only ever seen bikes completely built from shops, they actually come in boxes like this. So we're gonna be building it completely from scratch. Well, not completely from scratch. It's actually usually pretty easy to build these out of the box, but we're gonna test her abilities and see how far she can get without me. We've got my stand over here. We've got our pump over here, and we got some Allen keys. I think we're gonna be pretty good to go. Anyway, let's start with the build. 組み立てみましょう。
楽しみ Let's go.
Let's go. So first things first, let's get everything out of the box. There's always a couple little boxes in here, so some other accessories, we'll open those in a little bit. それギター。
そうです。ギターです。
And this is just padding to protect the bike, so we don't need this, but Thuong-chan seems to have found a good use for it. I'm guessing this is the seat post.
重いですね。
Oh, これ何が入ってるんだろう。So this one's a little bit heavier than the others. This also has a giant protector for the gears and the wheels. I don't think we're actually going to use this, but comes with it. And this is one of the most exciting parts of any bike build, is just pulling it out of the box. ね、取るのが一番楽しい。
そうです。
一緒に。
はい。
せーの。お。
お。これです。
Thuong-chanの新しい自転車。
My house, my baby.
All right, and we can get rid of this box for now. I think we might save this in case we ever need to travel in the future. These are nice, cheap ways to bring your bike internationally. So we're gonna save this somewhere, but we don't have too much space in the apartment.
前に移動します。
So first we gotta cut off all these different zip ties. You'll see there's lots of different pieces on the bike that are protecting it, all the crucial areas, so it doesn't get damaged in the shipment. And this bike is a beautiful orange color.
でしょう。私の好きな色です。どこからいいかな。スタートどこ。
まずフィル。
フィルから。いい音。
And I always like to save these plastic pieces because you never know, you might need these in the future, especially if you pack up your bike for an international trip. These are really useful, so I'd recommend saving these if you can. Another exciting thing about this bike is this is a through axle front and back. So my first, actually it's not my bike, but our first through axle front and back bike. My current mountain bike that I have is through axle in the back, but quick release in the front. So it's a little bit older model, but this one, nice upgrade. Actually, for the next part, let's get the seat post in here and put this in the rack. Here's our seat post. And I always forget which seat post you need to put grease on, but this is aluminum on aluminum, so pretty sure we want to put some grease on this. Luckily, I have some grease, so let's put some grease on here before we put it in. Here we go, here's our grease. So we don't need too much. This actually might be a little bit too much, but that's all right. Let's rub this on here nice and good. There we go. And I got my tissue ready. Wipe that grease off my hand. We got our quick release, so first let's loosen this up and we can put our seat post in. And doesn't matter the height right now, so I'm just gonna put it in randomly. We'll fix that later. And let's tighten this down. Pretty tight, and let's get it in the rack. So I'm actually pretty fortunate that I invested in all these different bike tools. It's almost like a bike shop in here, but I lack the skills of a regular bike shop mechanic, but we're gonna do our best in today's build. これあるとプロみたい。
どこから？
次はまあ後ろから取っていいよ。そう。
おう。わお。じゃあ前にする。
Next, we got to separate the handlebars, so we're going to get that on here. We also got to get the stem. It looks like it's not attached right now, so that's probably in one of the boxes. We'll pull out the stem and attach the handlebar next. Apologies if my order here is just all messed up. I haven't done this in a long time.
Oh, びっくりした。
So this is actually really easy. You just separate it apart and pretty much put everything, the last few pieces where it needs to go. These bikes come pretty much assembled. It's not too difficult to put these together if you know the few steps. The next part though, we need to find the stem and get that attached on here. So in this box, we've got our bike registration. Always make sure you register your bike. You never know in case you need it for like a warranty or something like that. So we'll make sure to do that. Some other interesting things came with some flat pedals, so we'll start with that for testing. And there's a bell too, which is surprising. Not sure if we can actually use this in Japan because using bells here are actually illegal. Let's go. Well, that's useful. What else we got in here? This is a plug for the disc brake. So this is useful when you take off your wheel for like traveling and stuff. You can stick it in the brake so that they don't stick together when you're traveling. And the piece we were looking for, our stem. We also got a couple other items here. RockShox stickers, some other little cable pieces here, and an extra cable here. I think this is for the lockout on the fork. So we'll install all this in a little bit. First things first. Let's get the stem on. Right.
Oh, すごい。
So you gotta be careful when you loosen this because you don't want the fork to drop out. We'll take off this top bolt here. And take this off. これ取って。いらない。We're gonna take off one spacer. This bike might be a little bit big for her, so I don't think we really want to slam the stem yet, but we'll gradually get her there. We'll start in the middle ground for the stem. The next choice with the stem is if we want it pointing up or if we want it pointing down, but I think we're going to point it down unless she has any complaints. We might flip it up later, but usually if you're a beginner, you want to flip it up because it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit more upright, but pointing it down will give you a little bit more of an aggressive, more aero kind of position, but it's all personal preference. We're going to start with down anyway. So we put the stem on. Next, we want to put the spacer back on. Spacer mo tsukete. で、これ閉める. So we just put the cap back on, tighten this down, and we're pretty good to go. We don't need to worry about this being straight right now. We'll do that once we get the wheel and handlebar on. But for now, we want to get everything in the right place. Next, we take off these front pieces on the stem, and we can put the handlebar on. やってみる?
全部外す?
全部. So these are a little bit of a pain because you got to take off 4 pieces. Okay. できました. 次はハンドルをつける. Next, we got to put the handlebar in the right position. So we want to make sure our handlebars are in the right position before we place it on. All the cables are routed the right direction. And I just noticed the stem here is actually the wrong direction of the fork. So the front fork goes this way. So we got the stem in the wrong position. So easy fix. Let's tighten that back down. Okay. で、それ戻す. So again, you want to put these on little by little. You don't want to tighten one down too much in the beginning because then it'll make getting the balance a little bit difficult later on. So you want to put all of them on just a little bit at first and then gradually tighten them down equally so that they have equal tension on all 4 of them.
滑ってる.
And these pieces usually come a little bit pre-greased. I think she's finding that out on her fingers right now. So before we tighten these all down, we want to make sure it's perfectly in the center. We've got some markers here that make that easy to do. So once we do that, we can tighten each one down and make sure again that they are all equally tightened. So don't tighten one down way too much, tighten them all little by little. It's a slow process, but definitely make sure you don't mess this up. All right, we finished getting the handlebars on the stem. Next, let's get some of the other parts we don't need off. ね、ハンドルの他のいらないパーツ取っていいよ。
これもまだ。かっこいい。
かっこいい人のためのかっこいい自転車。
これ運命の自転車。
運命の自転車。そうだよ。俺運命の男。忘れないで。
はい。
The next part on here with the fork, we want to route this cable here. It actually has an attachment piece here on the front piece, so we just got to unscrew this and we stick the cable in there, and that'll keep it nice and close to the fork so it's not just flying all over the place. ね、これここに入れるだけ。これちょっと外して、でこの中に入れるだけ。できるでしょ？
はい。あ、ここを外して。うん。ああ、そういうことですね。うん。
右だよ。
難しいね。なんか
できた。
できました。
すごい。
じゃあ緊張してうまくできない。もっともっと上手だよ。本当？
本当？
緊張でうまくできなかったよ。
So looking good. Next part, we want to get the through axle off here and stick the front wheel in. クイックとちょっと違う。まずサイズ確認して。
左に回す。
うん。取って。ちょっと違うでしょ、クイックと。
そうだね、違う。
これもっと強い。でも取るちょっとめんどくさい。道具が必要。
そうですね。で、
次はこのプラグ取る。
ああ、これどうやって？
引っ張るだけ。そうそうそう。取って。
オッケー。
そう。で、次はホイール入れる。
こうディスが右ですね。じゃあまず。
So there's a bunch of debate over the advantages and disadvantages of through axle versus quick release. And most of my bikes are honestly still quick release, and that's mainly because I haven't bought too many new bikes recently. But one of the nice things about through axle though is they're always in perfect position, so you usually don't have to worry too much about your brakes rubbing. ね、確認して、ホイール回してみて。Unfortunately, we got some brake rub, so we got to fix that. This isn't something I've done in a long time, but let's see if we can do it. Usually the easiest solution is just to loosen up the bolts on where the brake is mounted, and then squeeze the brake handle and then tighten it back down. I'm gonna cross our fingers and see if that works. So an interesting thing I should point out in this video is normally bikes in Japan, the left brake is rear, and then the right brake is front. But this bike is actually reverse, and we bought this one specifically for this reason because this is what I'm used to, this is what she's used to. We like right handle rear brake and left handle front brake. まあこういう風が好きでしょ？俺も好き。So we just loosened up the front brake from the fork. I'm going to squeeze down on the handle, tighten down these bolts again, and cross my fingers that this works. This is the little trick. When I used to work part-time in the bike shop, man, adjusting disc brakes was a pain in the butt. Sometimes you can get it done pretty quickly, but sometimes there's some troublemakers. Let's see how this works.
まだちょっと。
あ、ちょっとだけ。So way better than before. Just did a little adjustment. Let's see if this works. できた。
できましたね。
できたよ。
すごい。
まあ次はこれ取りましょう。全部見たいでしょ？これ取りましょう。
じゃあこれ取ります。おー、わお。
綺麗でしょ？3番かっこいい。俺スポーツやってた時いつも3番だよ。
ナンバーワンに。
ナンバーワンに。
優勝する。
まあね。まあね、確かに。すみませんでした。ワンはちょっと高い。おー！かっこいい。
BMC!
I believe the correct name for this color is blood orange, and this is just a beautiful combination here of the orange and dark red, or blood orange as they say. かっこいいね。So we're getting pretty far along with the build. The next thing we want to do is make sure the rear wheel is okay and also check the shifter, so we got to put the pedals on. Going on to the specs of this bike, we haven't really talked about that yet. I mentioned earlier, this is an aluminum bike, ne, alumino jitencha, and this is a single up front, so this is a SRAM SX Eagle group set, so a more budget-friendly one-by. This is actually my first ever one-by other than a single speed, so, or not mine, but ours. And let's get this guard off here. And one of the unique things about these one-by setups is these rear cassettes are just massive. ね、このスプロケット、でっかいな。This rear sprocket is actually larger than the front chainring. ね、これよりこれが大きいだね。で、これ前のギア一つしかないから使いやすい。
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 20,
12
12
12
12
12お、初めての12スピードのバイク。Wow, this is just crazy. Even it makes the rotor on the other side just look so small, like just pretty ridiculous. So first things first, let's make sure this rear wheel is okay. No problems with the brake. あ、いい音。ブレーキ触ってないでしょ？大丈夫。But just to be safe, we want to tighten those bolts down and make sure everything is okay. お、お、最後、まだつけてないのがサドル。
何色？
知らない。
何色だと思ってる？
黒。
オレンジじゃない？
オレンジじゃないよ。
これです。
So it looks like we got some other useful tools in here. We got a tubeless ready setup. We're not going to do this right now, but maybe we'll do that another day. We got some reflectors. We're definitely not using these. And the part we were looking for, the missing piece, the saddle. これつけましょう。So getting these saddles on is always a little bit of a pain because it's always awkward where these bolts are and getting these on and off. So getting these tightened and loosened is always just really awkward. But fortunately, you don't really change your saddle too often. So once you get it set, it's no problem. All right, difficult part is over. We got the saddle on. It's not exactly in the right position right now, but we're gonna wait until we get the bike down on the ground to do that. But for now, that's good enough. Next thing, we wanna get the pedals on here and check the rear wheel, check the gears. So we're gonna go with the flat pedals for right now. We'll change these over to the SPDs later, but for now, these are good enough. And before you put these on, you always want to put some grease on these as well. These usually also have the direction written on them. So this one has an L, this one goes on the left side. And pedals are really tricky because they don't go the same direction, so you don't go right for both of them. So on the left pedal, we go counterclockwise, but on the right pedal, we go clockwise to tighten. So they're opposite. Just think forward of the bike to tighten and backwards of the bike to loosen. So the left pedal, we tighten to the left. And we're just going to tighten this by hand right now. We don't need to really tighten these down with the pedal wrench for now because we're going to change these out pretty soon. じゃあ、右できる？
できました。超簡単。
次はギア確認する。おー !1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So that wasn't too bad. These bikes usually come pretty fine-tuned, so just a little tiny adjustments. And these cables do stretch after the first few rides, so we're gonna have to adjust this pretty soon anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect right now. Anyway, that's most of the steps. Next, we also wanna make sure we get some air in these tires. Here's our yellow pump. Kimi, bike mechanic になれる。何でもできる。
何でもできる女。料理もできる。サイクリングできる。あと何が十分人生が。
次は前も。
終わりました。
そうだね。あとは。
まだ
Let's do a quick bike check. Let's check our progress right now. So another thing you want to make sure you do when you do a bike build is tighten all the bolts. Make sure all the bolts are tight. Okay, so we've got our pressure in our rear wheel. Front wheel okay. Rear shifter is okay. Rear brake is okay. Making our way forward. There's no front shifter to worry about, so that's okay. We have to adjust her seat.
Okay.
We'll fix that in a little bit. Making our way forward. We can add some bottle cages on here. We're not going to do that right now. Also, I forgot to mention this is actually a size M. M sizeにした. So she's kind of in between an S and an M. 170センチだね. So she's right in between S and M, but we figured we'd go with the M's. Bigger bikes are generally a little bit more stable and easier to ride, so a bit more comfortable. We also got to tighten this down, but we're going to do all of that once we get it off the rack. このプラスチックいらないな。
いる。
So we can take off the plastic on the handlebars. And brakes are okay. Shifters are okay. There's actually one other lever on here, so this actually isn't a shifter. This is actually for the front fork lockout. I actually have never set one of these up myself, but I think it's pretty easy. I think we just gotta route the cable into here, and we just gotta loosen this guy and tighten it down, clamp it on here, and then cut the cable, then we're good to go. So let's test out the lockout. Locks it out, the front fork, and then this will release it. Good to go. Fortunately, I've got my cable cutters here. These are an essential tool in your cycling toolkit. Let's cut this off. There we go. And I actually also got a special piece here. This didn't come with the bike, but we got a blue anodized cable cover here. And this is a protection to make sure that your cable doesn't get frayed and all messed up. So we put that on over here. There we go. Perfect. 90% 終わりました。お疲れ様でした。
お疲れ様でした。
All right, guys, I think we're ready to get the bike off the rack and make a few final little adjustments and then get out on the road real quickly for a test ride. As you can see, it's dark outside. It's already late at night, but I think we want to get at least one little test ride in today. ね、ちょっとだけでも走りたいね。It's a little cold and dark, but we're going to make some last little final adjustments and get this bike out on the road so she can get her quick first test ride in. 重いな、アルミの自転車。
そう、重いんですよ。うわ、嘘、重い。何キロ？
多分12、13ぐらい。
15。
15。
うん、重いですよ。
まあ強くなる。
Wow.
All right, guys, we made it outside with Thuong-chan and her first ride on her new bike. It's 1 a.m. right now.
あ、1時半過ぎ。もうすぐ2時。
もうすぐ2時。ちょっと遅い。But we wanted to get out on a quick ride before the day was over. Unfortunately, it's going to be raining tomorrow, so she's not going to be able to test ride the bike tomorrow. So this is our first little quick test. 今までどう？
いい、スムーズ。
スムーズ。サイズは？
サイズ OK。
サイズ OK。
バッチリ。ラブラブ。
ラブラブ。Well, we're in the mood of new purchases. I'm actually using a new camera right now. This is a DJI Osmo Pocket. So I bought this on sale, a nice little Christmas sale. This was a present for myself, so I get a new camera. She gets a new bike. I think that's a pretty fair deal. And 初めての自転車の組み立てはどうだった？
なんかね、思ったよりそんなに面倒くさい難しいじゃないと思う。
そんなに難しくないでしょ？
順番が覚えれば大丈夫と思う。
誰でも初心者でもできるでしょ？
2番目の組み立て。
じゃあ2番目の組み立て君全部一人でやるね。
そう、じゃあいつその自転車まだまだ。これ買ったばかりから。
でも本当の初めてのライド楽しみだね。
そうですね。
明日雨で残念だ。
残念で、次の日晴れ。
次の日マウンテンバイクの道探しに行こ
う。はい、楽しみ。
名前決めた？
くーちゃん。
くーちゃん。なんでくーちゃん？
クルーズのクー。クルーズ大好きから、自転車も大好きから。くーちゃんも好き、クルーズも好き。
いい名前だな。よし。Let's finish up with a little bit more of a ride and I'll try and get some nice footage, but it's pretty dark. Actually, that's one of the reasons I bought this camera because I thought it would perform better in the dark, but you can see there's almost no lights out here at this time of night, but let's see how the camera performs at night, and I'm hoping to make some more night commute videos for you guys using this camera, but anyway, 帰りましょう。
帰りましょう。もう眠たい。
眠いな。
眠たい。もう2時だよ。
早く寝よう。じゃあおやすみなさい。
おやすみなさい。ありがとう。
見てくれてありがとう。